Hey guys, welcome to the Honey Bunches of Goats podcast, episode number 4. Damn, 4 episodes in. Yo, who would have thought we would have got this far?
Hold up.
I'm sorry. You're. You know, that's the New York hollering. You know, that's how we do it over
shaking, y'all. What's good?
Was really, really good.
What it do, guys?
What's up?
Anyway, guys, hey, you know, we have a great episode here for you guys. We're going to cover a couple of topics here. You know, we've, you know, it's already, you know, August, you know, in this crazy ass year. I can't believe already it's been already since it's 5 months since Corona hit. And
wow,
it feels so long, right?
Feels like 2 years. Tops.
Yeah. It feels so crazy how how life has been affected so much and how we haven't really, you know, had any type of normalcy since March.
For
and
sure.
March is 5 months ago, and it feels way longer than that, right?
For sure. It's
literally right after my birthday, everything shut down.
Everything, yeah. And that was like the one of the last lit nights we had all together, you know?
At 3308.
Yeah.
Told you, ask about us.
Was really, really good.
You heard?
So, you know, it's a weird situation that we've all been in. Sports have obviously been severely impacted by what's been going on. You know, boxing, NBA, NFL, MLB. You know, you know, we've had to make an adjustment just like these sports. You know, we've had to make an adjustment ourselves in our everyday lives, just like all these major sports leagues. So it's really just you know, it is a testament to the human spirit, how everyone has tried their best to live their life the best way possible, you know?
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
definitely a huge adjustment. One thing that we all know is we have to adjust to any circumstance, anything that comes our way, and that's definitely one of the biggest adjustments that I could say and all of us could relate to.
Yeah. You know, boxers I'm pretty sure have had a really, really tough time trying to prepare for their fights. Not only in a boxing ring with no fans, which is something that, you know, it's tough. It's a weird adjustment, but also to prepare for their fights and prepare themselves for a championship level, you know, a championship level of stamina and preparedness to get to. You know, the first topic we want to get into is recently there's been news, the Benavidez fight. Hey, you know, Benavidez lost his title at the weigh-in.
At the weight?
He came in, I think,
3 pounds.
3 pounds overweight,
heavier,
right?
Yeah.
He fights at the super middleweight level, so that's 168, and he came in at what 171. 170.8, I think.
Correct.
So hold on a second, guys. So if you know, come into weigh-in and you don't make weight, you're stripped of your title that you previously had?
You're automatically stripped of your title.
Wow.
And if your opponent makes the weight, then if he wins that fight, he is eligible to win that title. So that's usually the rules with the sanctioning organizations.
It's crazy.
You know, listen, you have to be professional at the end of the day. You have to make weight. If you want your title, you have to make weight. And, you know, I'm pretty sure Benavidez himself, like in the interviews that we've seen, he seemed to, you know, take responsibility for, you know, the mishaps and whatnot. But, you know, he was talking about how, you know, with, you know, being in the top rank bubble, you know, it's tough. You know, they didn't have a sauna, they said. They said that they could only train for X amount of hours, you know, and I guess to drop those last 3 pounds was, you know, not in the cards for him. You know, I think he didn't try to lose those 3 pounds after he weighed in overweight, which I think is kind of, you know, stupid. At least try even harder to. At least I know that you're dried out and all that, but you know, you want to keep your title, you have to, you know, do whatever you can to lose those pounds. And they gave him the opportunity, and he said that he just couldn't do it. But I think he should have taken advantage of at least that opportunity to re-weigh in, you know.
And we all know how hard it is in general, a regular everyday. regular every day, how hard it is to like lose weight.
Yeah.
3 pounds is crazy.
I'm a fat piece of shit, so like I'm talking all this shit. Like you have to be professional. You have to lose weight. You have to make sure you. And meanwhile, like I look at a cheeseburger and my ass jiggles for like for like 5 minutes. So I mean obviously we're not professional athletes like David Benavidez, but it is what it is. He lost his title against not the Angulo I'm thinking about, not the Alfredo Angulo.
No, it's a Colombian fighter that's based in Miami, Angulo, which he's coming off of a pretty good record himself. But of course, like you mentioned, Benavidez, knowing that he was going to be stuck in a bubble, he should have brought maybe ahead of time more appropriate tools, stuff with him. Bodysuits.
I mean, yeah, we're not in his position, so we can't really know exactly what he was trying to do to lose those 3 pounds. But we're in a position where now we have a title fight, and the champion is no longer champion, which takes a lot of steam out of the event. It's a DAZN card, isn't it? Is it on DAZN?
No, it's a PBC fight.
Oh, PBC. Okay, all right. So I mean, we talked about the PBC schedule recently. We were taking a look at the DAZN schedule, right?
Yep.
Actually, this weekend we have 2 big fights. We actually, we have Carl Frampton fighting tomorrow, and Michael Conlon also fighting tomorrow. Frampton has been talking about, moving up. He's been fighting at 122, 126. He's looking to fight at 130. And Conlon was fighting at 126. I mean, he's trying to move up. There's so many names there. We've been talking about it the past couple episodes. There's so many names and so much like potential for big fights at the smaller weights, around like the from the light featherweight to lightweight. It's crazy how many you can like mix and match, take a bunch of fighters and mix them all together. So one of the also on the undercard as well, we have that Rolly Romero is fighting as well.
Yes, up and coming fighter.
Yeah, under Mayweather's banner, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's most notable known for
talking
having a
mad
beef,
shit,
having a beef with Ryan Garcia, having that little video of him, both of them sparring, and just
they were going really hard at it,
talking a lot of shit on social media.
Listen, we've talked about how we have dealt with, all these new boxers, these young boxers that are just like, sparring through social media. And me personally, I'm not one for it. Talking shit on social media has never been my type of thing. And in boxing, like, you could talk a lot of shit, kind of like how NBA players are doing it, like, Damian Lillard and Paul George have been going at it, right? So, but I think it's for nothing, because it's like at the end of the day, who cares about Twitter? I want to see a fight. So how about we stop fighting on Twitter and actually get these fights together? Like, call your promoter, be like, yo, make this fight.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, show them hands.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we have a lot of like professional athletes that act like 16-year-olds apparently on Twitter. And it's kind of, I think it's stupid.
Hey, they don't call them Twitter fingers for no reason.
Exactly.
I mean, it's turn to Twitter fingers.
Exactly. I mean, it is what it is, but hey, it's fun. It's fun to see people talk shit to one another, but superficially, I mean, it's a very superficial like thing to do, to just like argue online.
No, for sure. I just want Romero to get hyped up to the point where they build up a potential fight with Ryan Garcia. That way they squash everything they said before, and like you said, just finally get this fight started and people throw hands. Instead of putting their fingers on their phone.
Stop Twitter fingering, right, guys?
Yeah, you have to be gentle when you ring the bell. So,
and by the way, guys, who do you guys have winning tomorrow? Benavidez or Angulo?
To be honest with you, I've only seen a couple of. Hold on 1 second. Sorry about that. We had a little technical difficulties.
Special guest.
But yeah. So I don't really know much about this Angulo cat. I don't even know his first name. What a terrible boxing podcast host I am. But his name is Romer Alexis Angulo.
Yes.
No, I don't really know him. I haven't followed him. I mean, let's look at his box rec. Angulo. Romer. What a name. All right. So so right now he 26-1. He's fighting David Benavidez. His last opponent was Anthony Sims Jr. And from what I've seen, the only big name he's fought is Gilberto Ramirez, who is the WBO Super Middleweight champion. So that's his only loss. Other than that, really, there's nobody really on his resume that's pretty anybody of note. So I mean, I'm gonna go with David Benavidez, especially from what I've seen. We talked about the previous fight when he fought Darrell, yeah, Anthony Darrell. He made a good account of himself. Tough inside fight. Those Benavidez boys both have like him and Jose have like similar style. They fight the same way similarly. Yeah. Like they're just straight up like come stay in front of you type fighters. So
yep. Hopefully, as we all said, we're pretty much just predicting Benavidez to fight and win. And maybe hoping next fight he could potentially fight Caleb Plant because he's been doing a lot of talking in Twitter and social media too.
Talking trash.
Yep.
168 is really like low key starting on the come up. 168.
Yep.
Especially with Canelo bouncing between those weight classes and Triple G. Also looking for fights. That, obviously he's chasing the third Canelo fight, which I think they're probably going to make most likely next year. There's a lot of mix and matches over there as well. At 168, 160, and 175. It'll be interesting to see. What kind of matchups will come up.
So what weight class is Benavidez fighting?
168,
which is
super middleweight.
Super middleweight.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Yes. Anyways, but like we were talking about, coronavirus is affecting, how these fighters kind of get themselves ready to fight, and get themselves for title fights. We already see how the NBA has been created this bubble and, been able to produce, a semblance of a regular season. In addition to, the upcoming playoffs, they're already, I think 9 games in already, right? Into
8 games.
8 games in.
Maybe including today, it would be 9 games, but yeah, 8 games so far.
Yeah, and it's been pretty interesting. We've seen a lot of like random.
Superb.
Yeah, we've been seeing a lot of like random like point blowups. T.J. Warren.
Devin Booker,
the
Suns,
Lillard dropped 61.
Yep.
Isn't that cool? By the way, how Adidas, in honor of his 61-point game, they dropped all his Damian Lillard sneakers to $61. That's a pretty good marketing.
And as you could imagine, everything was sold out.
Yeah.
His sneakers are pretty fire, by the way.
And even us, me and KJ, last night we hopped on pretty late on the app, and everything was sold out.
It was gone, really?
Yep.
Damn.
Sold out.
Yeah, imagine now if Lillard made some like Dame Lillard X Yeezy collabo. Imagine that.
He should.
Similar to what Kanye's doing with D Rose, right?
Yeah. Oh God, those sneakers are so ugly.
Are those even
sneakers?
I like them.
They look like slippers.
No, but from what I know, Derrick Rose's girlfriend or wife was rocking them, but supposedly she was saying like that those wasn't her size. They were like bigger than what she her normal size.
It doesn't matter.
She was just rocking it just to rock it.
They definitely look like clown shoes / slippers.
No, they make you look like alien feet.
Yeah,
those are fire.
Definitely. If you don't wear them joints with socks, your feet are smelling OD bad, yo.
Especially in the middle of August.
Stankin'. But yeah. So KJ, so give us the NBA rundown. What's been going on?
Yeah, let's talk about the NBA. So the 2 most important teams right now that we need to be watching, well, everyone needs to be watching, would be the Portland Trail Blazers and the Memphis Grizzlies. Right now, they clinched a play-in berth, meaning that they have to play Saturday, which is tomorrow. They have to play Saturday. It would be the Trail Blazers versus the Grizzlies. And whoever wins that game, well, if the Trailblazers win that game, they're a shoo-in into the playoff bracket playing the Lakers. But if they lose, Saturday they will have to play the Grizzlies again on Sunday.
Oh, wow.
So that's just the way it's gonna work. And the Grizzlies have to win 2 games in a row, so they have to beat the Trailblazers tomorrow and Sunday in order to take the Blazers spot.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of drama for
Good.
only
That's
like
what
2
we
weeks
need.
in, right?
Definitely is gonna be high intense, competitive because both teams are really looking to clinch that spot.
And it's ironic because the Trailblazers they eliminated the Suns, right, from playoff competition.
Yeah.
They did.
You know, isn't that some crazy shit? The Suns have been shitted on for the better part of the past since Steve Nash left, right?
Departure, yep.
And they've been either mediocre or hot garbage, right?
Sounds like my Knicks.
Yeah.
Facts.
They come into this NBA playoff bubble, right? Or in this NBA, a 10-game, regular season send off, whatever it is. They go 8-0, right? And they play great basketball. Led by Devin Booker, who people have been been trying to get out of Phoenix. People have been begging Phoenix to get Devin Booker out of there because Phoenix Suns are hot garbage. Even Draymond Green, he got fined recently because he was like, "Yo, get my man Booker out of Phoenix, bro. They hot garbage." And then it goes to show you, they go 8-0, and then they get eliminated. They get eliminated from the playoff hunt, which is. It's so bittersweet.
I got something in store for the Phoenix Suns later on during this podcast.
Oh, word.
Nice.
Okay. Wow,
Okay.
mad mysterious and shit. All right. But at least the NBA is on fully going on now. They haven't had any positive tests.
No, hold on.
They have? Oh, snap.
Not so much positive. I mean, there wasn't much information that I can get from ESPN, but I do know Mo Bamba, who plays for the Orlando Magic.
Oh, I was about to say there's more than one Magic.
The Orlando Magic. I mean, he leaves the bubble due to coronavirus evaluation, and he will miss the playoffs. Orlando's in the playoffs.
Oh, they made it too?
They made it to the playoffs, and their first round opponent is going to be the Milwaukee Bucks.
Wow. Oh, so they're the last seed. They're playing.
I believe they are the last seed, because Milwaukee's number 1.
Was it like a World Cup thing where because I wasn't used to I wasn't up to date on how the Magic were doing, but it's just because they're in Orlando, did they just let the Magic like yeah you could join the playoffs, you're hosting this shit, so you could join like in the World Cup, like for example Qatar is supposed to be in Qatar was it?
So pretty much for the listeners that don't know much about soccer, the host of every World Cup
automatically
immediately they're in.
Why?
Yes,
because if you're hosting the World Cup, the incentive is to have your home team there. So you place the bid, aka pay millions, maybe hundreds of millions of dollars to somebody's corrupt ass pockets of FIFA. And then you win the bid to host it. And then you also get the automatic bid of playing, which some people say is good. But then again, when you look at the history of the Olympics and how the finances of the Olympics have ruined the countries after the Olympics are ended, you could say it's not exactly a win-win situation there. But yeah, Orlando in the playoffs. Who would have thought?
Yeah,
wow.
I was surprised about that as well.
Can we just fast forward to the finals? Can we just see Milwaukee versus the LA or the Clippers?
No, man. I mean, this game tomorrow is gonna be big.
It's crazy because I love basketball, but for me to be this dismissive of it, it just goes to show you how much like the whole coronavirus thing has really affected the way I've seen this season.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy, and who knows what we're gonna see next year? Are we gonna have a regular season next year? We don't even know yet.
Wow. Yep.
Yeah, you got the NCAA football teams are considering starting their football leagues in the spring. I mean, and there's been so much infighting. Whether like the Pac-12, they already dismissed the season. Big Ten dismissed their season, even though I think Nebraska was like, no, we want to play. I mean, there is a valid point. I know we didn't have this on the schedule, but there is a valid point. What do you guys think? Should these college teams keep the season going and have these players on campus, or do you take the chance of canceling these seasons, and a lot of these players, some of them not of the most stable financial backgrounds, go back home, and they can be exposed to coronavirus there. So there's two schools of thought in terms of like coronavirus precautions. Hey, stay in school, keep the seasons going, and we monitor on campus how our student body is doing, right, in regards to the coronavirus, being exposed to coronavirus, or cancel the season, right, and have our players like go home essentially. Hey guys, so we had a collective bathroom break where we went inside the bathroom, we all took a piss, and we took selfies of each other.
Yep.
We were looking super cute.
With duck faces, kissy face.
Super cute.
Filters.
Oh my God. Oh my God. The only thing we weren't drunk. That was the only thing.
Yeah, which we're, funny enough, ironically enough, where we're doing this podcast is where 90% of our normal life will be drunk.
Yeah.
Our drunk life.
or Smidak, but
Facts.
Yep.
not gonna elaborate on that. Not trying to, but anyways, as we were talking about the NBA, right, and we were talking about the NCAA. I want to get back to what I was saying. So, guys, the NCAA has gotten to a point where most of these leagues like the Big Ten, Pac-12. They've canceled their seasons. They canceled their fall sports, including football. So, your opinion, guys, is it better to have these seasons go on and have these student athletes, quote unquote student athletes, on campus and basically, play their games, stay on campus, and I guess do regular testing, or have them stay at home and have them, basically, safe at home? But some would argue that, if you send a lot of these student players back, some of them from not the most stable financial situations, if anything, they're more susceptible to getting sick from coronavirus. So I just want to hear your opinions on that.
Yep. So, just first off, I think this mainly ties in with the school system and how they want to rush into opening schools and having the board just have a few adjustments and all, but just off the back, how we're just seeing things develop. A few students already are getting sick. We're seeing a little spike. Going back to now the NCAA and all these college sports academies, I think it's a huge risk just rushing back into it. It's all new to us, and with all this, we gotta adapt. We need to learn. We need to have a better system for these students. My thoughts on this is pretty much have them stay at home. I know it sucks. As an athlete, you want to be active, you want to be out there, but at the end of the day, health comes first.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like we all said, it's just tough to kind of figure out what they need to do. And I think they just need to take precautionary protocols, like with safety and I guess student athletes getting tested consistently just to keep up.
So you would,
similar to the NBA.
You would say keep the seasons going?
Yeah, I mean, we all want to see sports.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody everybody who's looking forward to watching the NFL, college football, college basketball. College basketball was canceled, right?
Well, last year. The March Madness was canceled. Yeah. And so, it says a lot about the situation with coronavirus. It's a tough. I can't even give an answer because before I was like, yeah, have them stay at home. There's no need to have football this season. But then also some people made good points, although I don't completely agree with them. But they made good points. Like a lot of these players are gonna go back to their back home, and even there they may not have the ability to quarantine themselves or keep themselves from being exposed. And then in addition to that, just the natural dangers of being home, especially, from bad neighborhoods and whatnot. It's a weird situation. There's positives and negatives in both sides.
For sure.
So, what can you do? I can't really give an answer, but, it is what it is at this point. I guess we just got to trust the powers that be of college football to do the right thing. But then again, when have they actually done the right thing? When has the NCAA done the right thing, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, hey,
Valid
But
point. You're very
and also
true.
this also falls back to the most important thing is if we all come together and just follow the program, which is wearing a mask, social distancing, then we're able to go back into all these things. We're the faster people get this on the road and on the show, the faster we'll get back to having this NCAA football, all these college tournaments back to action.
Yeah. And sometimes it doesn't work out that way. You know, like just look at boxing, right? Like we're gonna bring up right now. The return of Jorge Linares has been canceled because he tested positive for coronavirus, and he was scheduled to fight Javier Fortuna. And honestly, that would have been a good fight because I remember Fortuna is not a great fighter, but he's definitely a decent fighter at 135.
Yep.
I'm trying to think. Did he fight Terrence Crawford? I think he did fight Terrence Crawford. I think he did a couple of years ago. But I thought that was a pretty good scrap on paper, and you could do all the right things, and then boom, you're tested positive for coronavirus. And now Jorge Linares, unfortunately had to have his bout canceled. It's a tough situation for all athletes. What can you do? You have a livelihood to uphold. You have bills to pay. You need to pay the people that got you to these positions of significance within your respective sport, and then boom, tested coronavirus, everything canceled, no money.
So he tests positive, right?
Okay.
And what happens? What's the process of that?
Automatic cancellation of the bout.
fight.
Yeah, automatic cancellation of the bout. Look what happened to Jamel Herring. Remember, he tested positive, and he was arguing that it was a false positive, and then he got retested, and he's like, "Look, I guess the details on that were never completely, clarified, but." Just from testing positive, boom, gets canceled.
Yep.
They're not playing around when it comes to these fights, these sanctioning bodies and these commissions, these state commissions.
Yep. As severe and dramatic as sounds, I mean, I agree with the board, Boxing Association. The minute somebody tests positive, cancel the fight. This whole virus is such a new thing to us, especially in the sports world where boxing, they're taking a lot of strict measures to follow.
Yeah. Obviously, one sport that has been thriving, and we're not exactly MMA aficionados. I follow here and there, so as you guys know, at least the UFC has been able to basically really get their shit together and organize some great fights. We've seen some great title fights from the UFC since coronavirus, since they started doing fights during this era of coronavirus. We have this weekend, actually, one of the biggest cards of the year, UFC 252. It's headlined by the third match between Stipe Miocic and Daniel Cormier. And, just a recap, DC knocked out Miocic in the first fight, in the first round. Second fight, DC dominated the fight up until the fourth round. And he basically stopped wrestling, and then he started going, straight up with Miocic. And Miocic started hitting the body, started hitting him with body shots with his hands, and dropped Cormier's guard and started catching him, and eventually knocked him out in the second match. Wow. So now we have this third rubber match, right? We have this rubber match between them. A lot of people have been calling it the biggest heavyweight fight in UFC history.
Wow.
Brett Akamoto, ESPN staff writer covering MMA, has repeatedly said so, that it's probably the biggest fight in UFC heavyweight history.
Wow. So
I'm looking forward to it. I think Daniel Cormier is going to win. I think he learned his lesson from the second fight. Keep on sticking to what you were doing to dominate Stipe. Use your wrestling, ground and pound, take him to the floor, and just maul him at the end. Maul him. And I was watching their weigh-ins, and Miocic looks ripped. He looks good. He looks really good. Maybe a little bit. He's very, very in shape.
Wow.
But he maybe a little bit on the skinny side. But he looks in shape. And DC, he has a dad bod, so you can't go by looks with him. Because I pretty much have the same body as Daniel Cormier, so I can't really critique his body. He's one of the greatest MMA fighters of all time. So that
I feel like before this fight, didn't he fight someone else previously? Cormier, right? I feel like he lost.
Well, he lost the Miocic fight. He also lost against John Jones.
I think that's the one I saw recent.
Last year? No, it was 2 years ago. I think it was 2 years ago that they fought.
Well, from what I know, they have that infamous rivalry.
Yeah,
they're both beefing,
and John,
and it looks like it's never gonna stop.
That's at 205 pounds. They were fighting though. They were fighting at light heavyweight. So this one's for the heavyweight title. That's gonna be pretty good. There's also another good fight. One of the bigger names, up and coming names in UFC, Sean O'Malley, who a lot of people have compared to Conor McGregor in a lot of ways. Very explosive fighter, very very good striking. Decent ground game, decent jiu-jitsu. But he's been known for spectacular knockouts. His last fight was a crazy knockout of Eddie Wineland. Wineland is one of the UFC vets on the roster at bantamweight. So, and he's fighting, which I just learned, he's fighting an Ecuadorian fighter.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Año.
Yeah.
Might have to get on the Ecuadorian train because,
Yeah,
Ecuadorian for life.
So we have O'Malley, who's an up-and-coming fighter. And a lot of people have said that this, the guy who's fighting, his name is Chito. His nickname is Chito.
Chito. Definitely sounds like Ecuadorian.
I think he's based out of California. He cool. Immigrated from Ecuador to California. And his name is Marlon Vera. There we go. I got it up. His name is Marlon Vera, 15-6-1, from Ecuador. Probably one of the few Ecuadorian athletes that I know off the top of my head.
I was going to say, he doesn't sound Ecuadorian with that name.
Marlon Vera? Yeah, that sounds Spanish.
I don't think I ever heard of, let alone an Ecuadorian boxer.
I think there was one. His name was Eric Bone.
Never heard of him.
He's the only Ecuadorian boxer I know.
But to hear about a UFC Ecuadorian fighter, hey, that's awesome. I hope there's many more.
Yeah.
With that being said, maybe I'll be rooting for him.
I'm Ecuadorian, so I mean, I got to root for at least Miñano, you know what I'm saying? Even though I just learned about him, even though I just learned the fact that he was Ecuadorian, I'm like, I know that. It's kind of like me during the 2006 World Cup. I hate soccer. I respect soccer, but I hate it. I like watching it. But Ecuador made the World Cup, and I'm like, at that time, I was like, Miñano, what up? I don't even speak Spanish, but
You and everybody in Jackson Heights.
Yeah.
and Roosevelt.
Everyone south of Roosevelt Avenue. But yeah, so, I mean, we have those two really good fights. Junior Dos Santos versus Rosenstruck. A heavyweight match. That's going to be interesting, but, Dos Santos already, past his prime, whatever. And, hey, those two fights are going to be pretty good. I mean, we'll see how it goes. The UFC 252, they seem to be getting the UFC's been able to get the ball rolling during this era of coronavirus. Yeah. It's pretty impressive. That's the one thing I will say. It's very impressive. It is what it is. I wish a lot of these sports can kind of get their stuff together. Like the UFC has, although the UFC does have its advantages. It's a singular promotion that runs everything. Yeah. It's not like boxing, where they have multiple promoters and having the debate and all that stuff. So I understand they have a lot of advantages in regards to restarting their fight schedule. So, it's not like in football where you have to there's 52 players on a team.
Per team.
Not including the medical staff, head coaching staff, administration, blah, blah, blah. Imagine the sheer numbers of people that you have to kind of test on an everyday basis. And they're not even doing it in a bubble. It's almost impossible to do college football or college sports in general in a bubble, and it's almost impossible to do the NFL in a bubble. Yeah. You're asking all these players to stay. If they did a bubble, you're gonna ask them to stay 16 weeks in a singular location with no in and out. like the NBA is doing. At least the NBA had only covered 10 games plus playoffs. That's X amount of time. But the NFL season, 16 games, that's 17 weeks with the bye week plus the extra 5 weeks for teams that may get, it's impossible to do a bubble like that. Let's hope they get the season off. Let's hope they get the season off. A number of players already opted out already. So, it's an interesting situation. It really is.
For sure.
But getting back to boxing, let's get on a brighter note. Hey, Lomachenko versus Lopez is on, yo. That's what's up.
Let's go.
And it's going to be free on ESPN, so even better.
Yeah, so you don't have to pay for pay-per-view. It's one of the best fights in boxing that could be made right now. And you have one of the better up-and-coming fighters who is listed on the top 25 fighters under 25 that we covered last week. Yeah, Teofimo Lopez. Honduran fighter out of Brooklyn, born and raised in Brooklyn. So
wow, for real?
Yeah, born and raised in Brooklyn. Yeah, Teofimo is from Brooklyn. Yeah.
Oh damn, we got to root for him.
I mean, I like Lomachenko, but we'll see how it goes.
Lomachenko's a beast.
Okay, so now that we know this fight is on for sure. For October 17th on free TV, might add, as Raul, you said. We're going to get in depth with this fight before the fight, the week before the fight happens. But let's hear Raul, your opinion on this fight. What do you think you're going to see and your prediction?
Wow. It could go both ways. It could go one or two ways. One would be Teofimo potentially catching Lomachenko with a counter hook and stopping the fight in the 6th, 7th round. Or it could end up where Lomachenko just trying to dominate him throughout the whole night just with his boxing skills, his lateral jabs, moving the ring good, and just winning by points.
Yeah, okay. All right, that's cool. I think, to a certain extent, I agree with you. I think it's going to be one of two outcomes. The first outcome, Teofimo knocks out Lomachenko, which I think is less likely to happen. And Lomachenko winning by unanimous decision, which I think that would be
more
my
likely.
prediction. Yeah. I just think that Teofimo Lopez, he relies too much on his power. I mean, he's underrated as a boxer, absolutely. But as you saw, if anybody wants to check it out on YouTube, Teofimo Lopez versus Nakatani, when he wasn't focused, he was outboxed for stretches of that fight against a guy who was far the inferior fighter in Nakatani. And he looked bad. Everyone said he looked bad. Yeah, he had family problems, which probably contributed to his, distraction for preparing for the fight and maybe during the fight as well. But if you're distracted by that, then what about the distractions that come with a big fight? And then on top of it, with coronavirus precautions as well, there's going to be a lot on your plate. And, I think that he's going to take this fight seriously. I think he's going to train. And I don't think something like that Nakatani fight is going to happen. But you're fighting arguably top 3 pound-for-pound fighter in boxing. Right?
Agreed. And I think to add to what you were saying, Teofimo, I think he rebounded against Comey. At the guard, at
that's
the Garden.
What got him. Actually, that knockout got him back on track. But if you think it was just 2 fights removed from that awful performance against Nakatani.
For sure. I think he definitely took the right steps to rebound from that specific fight that you're talking about.
And I don't want to take anything away from his knockout against Comey, because Comey is a real deal.
He's definitely not a walkover. He's definitely not a walkover. He's a very great, solid boxer. Not necessarily a brawler, but a boxer, which he...
Well, that's how a lot of the African fighters, a lot of fighters from Africa, they always well prepared. They can fight all night, and they always have good, solid foundation technique. That's one thing we always notice about African fighters. And Comey is a top tier lightweight.
Yeah,
for
sure.
And he knocked him out. Knocked him out clean.
I think one of the reasons why I could also predict Teofimo possibly knocking out Lomachenko in the 6th or 7th round is, up until Lomachenko fighting Linares, I saw the first 5 rounds Linares just giving Lomachenko a few little problems in between those rounds. countering his shots pretty well. Up until the point where past the 6, he just ran out of gas. He gassed out. He lost the fight. He got knocked out. I don't see Teofimo Lopez gassing out in this fight. He's a younger fighter.
Yeah, I mean, but then again, he hasn't really
strong,
gotten 12.
and he's stronger than Linares.
But I don't think he's. I just think the experience level is just not there for him.
Agreed.
To the only way if he catches Lomachenko, which I mean, it's possible. But to be fair, when Lomachenko went down against Linares, it was more of a balance shot. Yeah, he felt it. Don't get me wrong. You could tell that he felt it, but it wasn't like he was dazed. It was more like, oh shit. Wow.
Guys, can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
I will say, hearing you guys debate about who's going to win, man, it looks like Raul over here is taking Lopez in that fight, and it looks like you're favoring Lomachenko.
Yeah,
that's what it sounds like. If whoever hears this,
it's more about agreeing to disagree in a way.
Okay.
It's just because, look, when I was there live for that particular fight with Loma and Linares, I saw things differently from when I asked people when they saw it on TV. They told me a different thing. When I saw it live on ringside, I saw Linares more sharper. The sound power of his punches was even louder, cleaner. But of course, the factor of him gassing out past the 6th round was the downfall of that fight.
See, I saw that fight on TV, and from my point of view, I saw Lomachenko clearly winning, but he had a couple of problems, especially after that knockdown. I saw him clearly winning, but you know what I also saw? I just saw when Lomachenko went down that he just started putting it on Linares. And I think that's the one thing, that's one X factor that we kind of forget with Lomachenko. He's such an excellent boxer, and he's such an excellent counter puncher, excellent left-handed fighter, great balance and all that. We forget that he has dog in him.
No,
he has
for
a
sure,
lot
for
of
sure.
dog in him,
He's amazing to watch.
Yeah.
And I didn't see the Linares fight, guys. I'm actually going to go watch that. But every other fight I have watched, I mean, the 3 E's, electric, energetic, and elusive.
Nice.
That's what I see
Well
about
said.
Lomachenko.
Wow. KJ, you've been going to broadcast school recently.
I just wanted to say I came
shit.
prepared today, guys. So just to let you guys
Damn,
know.
he just said we ain't
No,
shit,
I mean,
Raul.
to be real,
He just said we ain't shit.
Listen,
Wow.
to be real, the thing about Lomachenko from, being around you guys and just continuing watching boxing matches with him in it, and the matches that I've seen him fight, I mean, like I said, the 3 E's, electric, energetic, elusive, exciting.
Wow, who would have thought we would have got alliteration from our brother today?
I mean, ask about me. Let me know.
Holla.
You heard? All
Bang,
right,
bang. What up?
No, I mean, seriously.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean,
Keep them coming, KJ.
No, that's why when you guys talk about Linares, I didn't get to see that fight in particular. But every other fight I have watched. I mean,
Definitely watch that fight when you get home.
yeah, I will.
I have something to say about that. I just think Lomachenko Lopez will be an exciting exhibition of 2 excellent fighters who are exceptional at everything boxing.
That was 5 E's, by the way.
Did I get enough
you
E's
got
in
five,
there?
you
Okay,
got
all right.
But yeah, definitely I think just hearing us talk and building and breaking down this fight, I'm super excited for when are they fighting? October?
Yeah, October 17th.
Yes, which is a day after my birthday. So
Oh, what up? We gonna get lit.
yeah, guys.
Of course, with mask and safety protocols, of course.
And 6 feet apart.
And
too,
6 feet
guys.
apart, yeah. Even though we're clearly not 6 feet apart.
Get the F away from me if you're not 6 feet apart
Yeah,
from
6
me.
feet for me.
But also another fight that's actually pretty damn interesting. We got Andy Ruiz versus Chris Arreola, 2 high volume punchers who look like pancake batter when they're not in shape. But you know what? Let me stop talking shit, because both of these fighters, especially Arreola, they can go all night. They can fight despite how they look. They can fight all night.
It's the Mexican genes.
Yeah, man. They just
Arreola's
It's the
Mexican.
Mexican genes. Yeah, they're from California, Mexicali fighters,
Yeah.
Chicanos fighters. But as what Kyle was saying to add.
They have chins and they
yeah,
can fight all night.
I mean, look,
And
he
just
has
because
heavy
they're not,
hands.
and they're not even ripped.
yeah.
Then
you without
He
not
looks
knowing
overweight.
without knowing boxing, just looking at these physical fighters, you're gonna say, wow, they don't. I don't think they have the physique and the endurance to last 12 rounds. But they could definitely throw down for sure.
Yeah.
And this just goes to prove that you can't really, you can't really judge a book for its cover.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I mean, I remember, was it, I think a year or two ago, Arreola fought Konaki, that Polish heavyweight, the
Yes.
one who looks like a big baby.
Yes.
I also wouldn't fuck with him. They broke the heavyweight record for punches thrown.
Well, his nickname is Babyface.
Something like
yeah,
that. Yeah,
from Brooklyn.
Yeah,
he
and
he fights.
He
He trains. He
born
trains,
and raised out of Poland, but yeah, he trains
yes,
out of Brooklyn,
huge following. I was in one of his fights, and wow, the Polish
Yeah,
fighters
the Polish
definitely.
fighters come out.
Yes,
They came out.
they come
Yeah.
out to support, and he trains off of Gleason's
Oh,
Brooklyn's
really?
gym.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fun fact, by the way, guys.
Yeah, no, did you see that fight, the Arreola versus Konaki?
I did. It was a high.
Yeah, they
high
I think
intense
they each
action
threw
fight.
1,000 punches.
Yes.
In 12 rounds, and both of them are not. They don't look in shape, but in terms of boxing shape, remember boxing shape and physical look, the aesthetic shape are two different things.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
we've been surprised by a lot of fighters who don't look like they can go. Like remember Juan Diaz.
Yeah.
Great lightweight fighter for many years. Dude, he always was a little pudgy. I mean, he wasn't fat, but he was a little pudgy. But dude, he didn't have the best power, but man, if he could, he would throw 100 punches every round.
Yeah.
I remember that. And you know, I've seen guys like Anthony Joshua, ripped, brolic, and they get gassed out by after the
Yeah.
fifth round, you know?
I mean, you don't have to look like a bodybuilder to actually be a boxer.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, it's in some ways it's a gift, but in other ways it's hard work and dedication to the sport. And as long as you know how to bang and
Yeah.
be physically be able to learn techniques and actually the basic of boxing, it's not bodybuilding for sure.
So, what do you think of the fight, Arreola versus Andy Ruiz? Who do you think takes that fight?
Great fight. Wow. You know what? I will have to say Andy Ruiz.
Yeah, I think he has like a little more pop in his hands, a little more refined boxer as opposed to Arreola, who I respect dearly. Arreola, I mean, yeah, he's a little past his prime too, but that guy could fight. He could fight for days, bro. He could fight for days.
Yeah,
so.
he's a very good inside fighter where he gets you good on the inside. And
I just think Ruiz's hands are too fast on the inside for Arreola. Yeah,
Oh,
I think
yeah.
Ruiz probably wins by like technical knockout, probably by the 9th round.
Yeah.
I know Arreola has a great chin, but I think Ruiz is very,
Yeah,
But it depends on what type of Ruiz comes in. If it's out of shape Ruiz, I think it's gonna be a better fight. But if it's in shape Ruiz, we're gonna see. I would say mild
that's a huge
domination.
factor that could play into the
it
fight.
could be mild domination by Andy Ruiz. But if he comes in out of shape, oh man, that's gonna be a great fucking fight. But hey guys, so we're at that portion of our podcast. We're gonna start off with our goat of the night. Oh no, I'm sorry. Our personal goats.
Goats?
Goats
Goats
of the week.
or goats of the night?
Goat of the week.
Yeah, we can edit that out. Don't worry about it. But the goats of the week, guys. So we started last week. Each one of us has a candidate for goat of the week. I want to start with you, KJ. Who's your goat of the week?
All right, guys. Drum roll. My goat of the week this week is going to be Damian Lillard. And because of his stats.
Wait, can we pause? That was an awful drum roll, by the way. Can you do that again one more
Let's
time?
do it.
All right, ready?
I'll join you.
All right, my goat of the week is going to be Damian Lillard. Because of the stats that he put up this weekend.
Dame time
This week. Scoring 51 points against the 76ers. Then scoring 61 points against the Mavericks.
while talking mad shit in the process.
That's what I'm talking about, baby. Also, scoring 42 points to beat the Nets and clinch a play-in spot for his team. Portland's record was 6-2 in the bubble. And another stat that I found out, Damian Lillard is one of the only players with 10-plus career 50-point games.
Damn, KJ, all these stats you're pulling up is making my nipples hard, bro.
Come on. I told you I came prepared. Also, that list includes Wilt Chamberlain, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, rest in peace, James Harden, Elgin Baylor, Rick Barry, LeBron James, Allen Iverson, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Elite
Okay.
class.
What about you, Raul? Who is your goat of the week?
The goat of the week actually is a team of the week, which beat today Barcelona. Their name is Bayern Munich. They're from Germany, and they beat Barcelona, which is from Spain.
Barcelona.
Man,
Yes, and the reason why
spanked them, right?
Yes, and the reason why I have them as goat of the week is because they not just only beat them, but they destroy
They
them.
beat the brakes off them boys.
It was a slaughterhouse where the final score was 8-2,
8-2.
and
Goddamn.
there was one.
Sounds like a FIFA. It sounds like a game that we play in FIFA.
It basically sounded like the outcome of the Brazil and Germany.
Oh
in-
God, I
game
remember that
in the World Cup
That was
at
bad.
Brazil.
That was bad.
And what is the icing to the cake is there's one particular player in Barcelona, which his name is Arturo Vidal. He had
The
a
Chilean
lot,
cat,
yes,
right?
with
Oh,
the
he's a
mohawk.
beast.
With the
Yeah.
mohawk,
He's a
he
monster.
had a lot of talking to do prior to this game, and his quote is, "They are playing against Barcelona, not against teams from the Bundesliga, aka Germany. They are playing against the best team in the world, and guess what? They got the ass whooped."
Yeah,
too.
and Bayern Munich. I don't even know much about soccer, but I know Bayern Munich is one of the most consistent teams
In Germany.
and not just European
Oh, in
football.
general, yeah,
in
of course,
European
of course.
soccer, they're one of the most consistent teams. They're never like not like Liverpool when they go up and down, or like Manchester United going up
Oh,
and down,
definitely
or
Manchester
God,
United.
even Arsenal. I mean, some people say Arsenal has just been up and then down since 2000.
Yeah, I
beginning
think
of
they've been on the downfall this whole decade.
Yeah.
Their success was definitely in the late 90s, early 2000s
Yeah.
for sure. But yeah, it just goes to show you again,
8-2.
you can never judge a book by its cover, and just having arguably the best player in your team in the end of the day doesn't mean shit.
anything. Yeah, just because you're in the Spanish league, doesn't mean that you can beat easily. I mean, it doesn't mean there's a guaranteed win.
A walk in the
especially
park.
against Bayern Munich, who is one of the most, like I said, consistent teams
Yeah,
in all tournaments, in the Euro. I mean, and the European. What do you call that when they
The
get
Champions League.
Champions League, yeah,
Champions
yeah,
League.
Champions
And this is definitely up for another discussion for a later podcast, where they're gonna have their finals, Champions League. Right now, they're currently going through their semifinals, which I think we'll definitely touch up on next podcast.
Okay, all right, cool.
And who's your goat of the week?
My
Kyle?
goat of the week is, and this is before the fight happens, obviously, but it's Daniel Cormier.
Okay.
Daniel Cormier has quietly amassed a resume that a lot of people who maybe like hardcore MMA fighters, they know he's one of the greatest fighters of all time. But most people, when you think of the greatest fighters of all time, it's automatic like Anderson Silva, John Jones. Some people, Conor McGregor, say that, Khabib Nurmagomedov. But if you look at the resume of Daniel Cormier, he's only lost to 2 fighters. All right, he lost to John Jones, right? And arguably, you can put asterisks to those fights because John Jones tested positive in the second fight, and there you go. And he lost to Stipe Miocic in the last fight, which he knocked out in the first fight. So regardless of what happens Saturday, Daniel Cormier, who has been mentioned to say that this is probably might be his last fight, I'm not sure. I would love to see another fight with John Jones. At light heavyweight, just to see him get one more crack at John Jones. Yeah. If he retires after this fight, whether he wins or loses, I consider him the GOAT of the week for me because he's consistently been one of the best MMA fighters, and I'm not even a huge MMA fan, but constantly one of the best MMA fighters, beating everyone there is at light heavyweight. And he started his career at heavyweight. A lot of people forget that, and then went back to light heavyweight, and he's done this at 5'10", which is unheard of because a lot of these light heavyweights and heavyweights are tall guys. So, and he has a dad bod, and he's not a partier or anything like that. There's nothing sexy about him, in terms of like his lifestyle or anything. He's just a hardworking fighter who's made it from NCAA championships to where he is now, which is one of the greatest MMA fighters of all time. Resume is you could put his resume against almost anybody in pound for pound in MMA history. And the fact that he does what he does in a humble way, respectful way. You know, I love John Jones, but I know that he's also an asshole too. So I love John Jones, but you know, the stuff that he's done says a lot about him. Even though I think he gets a bad rap in a lot of ways, it says a lot about how he's run his life, you know, and how he takes sometimes the sport seriously. He said that he's partied and done drugs like the week of a fight. So, you know, he has a kind of lack of respect sometimes for the fight game. But DC has never done that. He's never cheapened, you know, his career. He's never cheapened his you know, any of his fights, because he's always trained hard and always consistently been a high level producer of great fights. So my go to the week, DC Daniel Cormier.
Okay.
We're gonna go now to our Mas Puta list. We started this last week, so we're going to continue this every week. The Mas Puta list for this week. Guys, KJ?
Oh, all right. I'm going to freestyle this, but, you know, my Mas Puta of the week is going to be the Phoenix Suns, because during this bubble...
With the 8-0 record.
With the 8-0 record.
Please explain. There we go.
That's my take there. Relax, Kyle. I got this.
All right.
No, so yeah, I give my Mas Puta of the week to the Phoenix Suns, because they did go 8-0 in the bubble. But, you know, if they did, you know, play harder, just like they did in the bubble, they probably would have had a better record during the regular season. And, you know, pre-NBA restart would have had a better chance to make it into the playoffs. But because they didn't and their record was shitty, they played shitty most of the year, you know, they didn't make it. They got eliminated by the Portland Trailblazers. So, you know, they're asked out now with the 8-0 record during the bubble.
Yeah, that's crazy,
Sucks.
right? But you know what? I guess that's what you deserve for being so mediocre the past 10 years, you know? I can understand. What about you, Ra?
My Mas Puta of the week, still gonna be on the same topic as basketball. I may have to put Giannis, the Greek freak,
the best player in NBA is your Mas Puta?
Yes, and the reason why.
Okay, let's hear the reason. Let's go. Yeah.
Hey, I mean, it's not it's no secret. It's all over the TV. Is where he headbutted that one guy. What's his name?
He headbutted somebody?
Yeah, he headbutted somebody. In the second quarter, and it wasn't even that serious, but I guess feelings came into play. He felt some sort of way, and he headbutted somebody. Which, if you see it, it wasn't even that big of a headbutt.
Was it like a dirty headbutt? Like he tried to.
It was more like
they just came face to face. They collided, and he tried
to sun him with his forehead. Let's put it like that.
And the reason why he's in the Mas Puta of the week, I mean, first of all, bro, if you're gonna headbutt somebody, headbutt them. If you're gonna get suspended. Two,
make it worth it.
Yeah, make it worth it.
Wait, did he get suspended now, right?
I think he got suspended for
with
one game.
The way the soft ass NBA has been going, like I wouldn't be surprised if like they suspended him for the postseason for just that.
And I don't think there was no reason to do that too, you know.
Yeah, I mean I get it. You know what? To be fair though, I will give him a reprieve, because the NBA is so soft that it's actually nice to see when they get physical, because it's like you breathe on James Harden and it's a foul. So it's nice to see Giannis take that 90s mentality.
And you got your favorism where if you like flop, they're gonna automatically give a foul call to the person that touched the player and did that flop. But like I said, if you're gonna headbutt somebody, and this is coming from a boxer fan, headbutt them. Do it like a Zidane World Cup where he Who
doesn't remember that?
When he really headbutt somebody.
I remember that.
Zinedine.
I remember he charged up that headbutt. He's like, boom.
That's a headbutt.
Yeah.
That's the way he fights.
He was like a triceratops.
Whoa. But again, I'm not questioning Giannis' toughness. That's definitely not what I'm saying. But no need to headbutt. But if you're gonna headbutt the person.
Make it worthwhile.
Do it like a man, basically. Don't do it like a chump.
Well, my Mas Puta for the week, all right, is Seahawks rookie, former Seahawks rookie, Kema Sivaran. I think I'm saying it right. But essentially, this young gentleman here, who is a rookie and on a non-guaranteed contract, thought it was a good idea to sneak a female guest wearing Seahawks clothing. So basically trying to put her in a disguise so he could sneak her up to the room. Let me tell you something, first of all. I know there's been NFL players in the past who've done way worse things. You know, Ray Rice off the top of my head. Ray Caruth murdering his girlfriend. You know, not exactly the same thing. I'm just saying these are just some of the worst things. Rampant steroid use. Bill Romanowski beating the shit out of his teammates, right? Okay, yeah. But in terms of doing something bad, it's not bad. But in terms of stupidity and lack of professionalism, especially coming from an undrafted rookie, it's mind-boggling.
Yeah,
I mean, you can see why.
Please tell me the girl was bad. Please tell me she was bad.
Had to have been.
She
bad.
had to have been bad.
Yeah.
And if she's not, and you know what, not to just say that because she had to be pretty, but come on, man, you're in the NFL, bro. Girls are gonna come and go.
I mean,
you know,
and not just like stupid decision on his part to try to disguise a female girlfriend to go in and sneak into the facility. We're going, like we have been expressing throughout the whole podcast, we're going through Corona, COVID.
Yeah.
We don't know where she was prior to this, if she's feeling any symptoms, whatever the case is. It's so stupid in that.
Imagine if the NFL season was canceled because the Seahawks all of them got sick from this one girl, and it was all because this rookie wanted to get some buns. Imagine the NFL season is derailed because a player wanted to get buns.
Selfish for sure.
Exactly.
Besides being stupid, very selfish.
Pause. If we have to edit this out, I will say, man, that's why I haven't been getting any type of other buns than what I'm getting now because of this Corona.
Well, let's just hope any of KJ's admirers didn't. Let's hope they don't hear this.
To actually discuss this and to your point is you're making a valid point, but because you're taking the actual precautions not to meet up with your significant other, right?
Others,
right? And you're not being selfish for.
Just kidding.
I didn't say that, but but to add on to what you were saying, KJ, you're looking out not just for because if you were selfish, you would actually take those steps to meet up, right? But you're not being selfish. You're looking out for your parents. You're looking out for people around you. Mm-hmm. And now, in his case, he wasn't. And we're not even talking about his family. We're talking about his work, his teammates. Mm-hmm. He's endangering, which is very selfish on his part.
It's incredibly stupid, especially for somebody who's just trying to make an NFL team. It's just stupid. And I will forgive mistakes. Hopefully he learns from this mistake and becomes able to get on another team. And hopefully they can overlook this transgression. But it's just something that's incredibly stupid. This reminds you that a lot of these NFL players, maybe we're just getting so old, that a lot of these NFL players are in their 21, 20.
I was going to say, how old is he?
They're young. These kids are young.
How old is he in particular?
Well, he's a rookie, so I'm assuming that he's like under 23.
Under 23.
But that's, yes, you're right in some extent, but I remember myself being, just like all of us, young at one point, and we were 21. But I don't think I was that selfish either, especially... Yeah. With certain elements and things going on in my life, no.
I mean, but you know what? I will say it is easy to say now that we're older that we wouldn't do that. But we don't know.
Yeah.
But in terms of professionalism, you have to realize like there's a certain level, especially in the NFL. It's not like you're working for like Starbucks or anything like that.
No, for sure.
You're working for NFL. Okay?
But because of that same factor, I mean, if I was in a career of the NFL or NBA, I mean, I'll be shutting my pants. I would be a good two-shooty. Like I wouldn't want to do anything wrong.
Yeah.
And let alone I know me,
especially as an undrafted rookie, how easy it is to get cut. Yeah.
That you gotta be grateful on the position you are.
Yeah. And not only that, but you lose the opportunity to make a living in football, possibly, and we don't know if he was going to be a star or not, but to make a very good living and helping out your family and all that stuff, helping out, whoever you need to help out in your life, and you kind of cost it because you're trying to get some buns.
Yeah, and just like any high-profile company organization, reputation is definitely a big thing.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure his reputation is tainted.
But let's hope. Listen, he's young. Let's hope that there's some GM that sees his talent and maybe can warrant a roster spot.
So he got released?
Yeah, he got released already.
Man. Yeah, you see.
All right, guys. Well, I'm sorry. I was gonna say. So we're wrapping it up. The one thing we did want to cover real quick, Mayweather We have yet to really get into any topics with, Floyd Mayweather on our podcast. I did want to, as our last topic of the night, I wanted to cover him real quick. And what we're going to do is each of us are going to bring up a possible opponent for Mayweather, right? We're going to say the likelihood of him coming out of retirement to fight said fighter and the outcome, and what do you think of Floyd Mayweather's legacy in general, okay? So we're going to go counterclockwise. We're going to go clockwise. We'll go with KJ. KJ, who do you think Mayweather should fight out of retirement if he decides to come out of retirement?
I was going to tell you guys, I really don't even know what weight class Mayweather fights in. I've seen a lot of his fights.
He goes from 147 to 154.
Okay, I've seen a lot of his fights. As a fan in general of sports,
as a casual boxing
Mayweather.
fan, who would you like to see him fight?
Who's in the what weight class again?
No, just off the top of your head. Don't.
Oh, you know who I want to see him fight? I want to see him fight Pacquiao again.
Oh, good. Okay,
Come on, man.
Okay, and again, what do you think would be the likelihood of this happening?
The likelihood, very low chance of happening. Because of all the other competition that is there, I'm sure in his weight class, very, very low likelihood. But I want to see that fight.
Okay.
Me and you want to see that fight too. So.
Okay. All right. What about you, Raul?
So just like his last previous fights, whether it was an MMA fighter against Conor McGregor and then a New Year's Eve exhibition match in Japan against a Japanese fighter, I don't see Mayweather fighting anybody currently active and competitive. I don't see him fighting the top 5 welterweights, not because he doesn't want to in the sense of competition and just
he's all about his money at this point.
Yeah. They don't call him Money Mayweather for no reason. He's a businessman at this point. And his age and everything, I'm pretty sure mindset, he's just making those decisions to make a quick million, a milli. God knows how much money he makes, but
if you could choose, but if you could make a choice, if you had a choice, who would you want to see him fight coming out of retirement?
Who I will pick. I think I would like to see a Pacquiao second fight,
exactly.
Just because on the first one, when Pacquiao lost, he was stating that it was because of the shoulder. He was uncomfortable. His arm.
He had a torn rotator cuff.
Pacquiao
so
got smoked.
It was.
Honestly,
you know what?
When you rewatch that fight, he just got outboxed. But not by a lot.
It's just typical Mayweather. His style of boxing.
Yeah.
It's having that shoulder roll stance, countering you, being the quicker fighter. It was just all that.
I just think that it wasn't a matter of what necessarily what Mayweather did, but what Pacquiao wasn't allowed to do, because what Mayweather as a defensive fighter was so good at is staying away. And if you watch that fight, honestly, when's the last time you saw Mayweather fight that extremely defensive? He didn't really like, he outboxed him and all that stuff, but there were maybe a handful of times Mayweather actually tried to put it on him. That's why I say that, it was lackluster, and that it was just, it was a typical Mayweather fight, but I've never seen him fight so carefully. The last time I probably saw him fight that carefully was, that's really hard to think, actually, to think of the last time I saw a Mayweather fight where he fought extremely carefully like that.
It sucks because Mayweather, to me, in my opinion, proved his dominance just watching that fight. And, I am a Pacquiao fan, but it hurt. It hurt watching that. It did.
I think I even as a Pacquiao super fan, I clearly saw it as a Mayweather win. But like I said, you look at the way Mayweather fought against Pacquiao, and then obviously, it's drastically different, but the way he fought against Conor McGregor, and he was fighting defensive the whole fight against Pacquiao. And with Conor McGregor, it was actually one of the first times I saw Mayweather actually just fight forward. Like, he didn't really fight defensively. He was just like going in there and just like getting him tired, and then
he knew what he was doing in both fights. In order to win Pacquiao fight, he had to fight that style in order to fight Conor McGregor.
I will say that it's unlikely to happen, a rematch, but I will say if Pacquiao gets a fight with either Errol Spence or Terrence Crawford next and wins, Mayweather will be really interested. I think it would be if Pacquiao beats either one of those fighters in his next fight. I say there's an 80% chance that Mayweather comes back to fight Pacquiao again.
I think so.
Yeah,
For the money, right?
For the money.
For
Yeah,
the views, the viewers.
And he's Pacquiao for his age. He's making a lot of noise in the welterweight division, especially now that he's under that PBC banner.
Yeah.
Promotion.
There's
fits.
really nobody for him to fight. Like he can assert his dominance against Danny Garcia, or like a rematch with Thurman, or even like a fight with like Porter. But the only fights that really mean anything to his legacy at this point is Crawford, Spence, and Mayweather. Those are the only fighters that mean.
You said Porter. I mean, similar height, no?
Yeah, they're both around the same height.
That's what I'm saying.
I think
We've
Porter's a
seen
little
Porter
bit
live.
taller, yeah.
So for me,
He's like a bulldog. But they were. But
Would that happen? Pacquiao versus Porter? Could they make that happen?
it was one of the options. It's still one of the options.
I would love to
I
watch
just
that.
think that if Pacquiao beats either Spence or Crawford in his next fight, if he does fight them, then I think that we see it's an 80% chance we see that rematch. That's definitely, yeah. Anyways, guys, hey, that was a great episode of the Honey Bunches of Ghosts podcast. We just want to tell everybody thank you for listening. We have uploaded our first 2 episodes on YouTube, and we will be soon to be putting it on the Apple iTunes,
yes,
and hopefully Spotify and SoundCloud in the next coming weeks. But as of right now, all of our episodes will be available to listen to on YouTube. And
please check it out.
Yeah, and we will
follow us.
Yeah, and starting I think with hopefully with this episode we'll add some video component of us talking. Although we're not other than
it's a lot of work, guys.
Yeah, it's a lot of work trying to look this pretty all the time, especially for the camera.
Let's go.
It's a work in progress, and we're learning.
Yeah, but anyways, guys, I just want to say thank you to our listeners. From Kyle, me, KJ, and Raul.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we just want to say thank you for listening, and have a great night, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Bang, bang. What up? What up? What up?
Don't forget the year.
Gang shit. What up?
Peace.
Peace. Peace.
You got knocked the fuck out, man!